From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more Corner Pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, Travelogue, Ireland, Part 2, the countryside. And Corey talking about the defense of Florida State. It's going to be exciting. Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. CPTallybar.com is the website. I'm probably talking way too loud for my hotel guests, but I don't care. I'm here to talk about the Noles and evangelize about how great Corner Pocket is. CPTallybar.com is the website. Weekday lunch specials, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for only $8.99. Comes with a side dish. Hit the QR code. Go to cptallybar.com, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. We're also presented by our great friends over at vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it. How am I alive and awake, bubbling with energy at this time of the day? Vitamin Energy. It's got vitamins and it's got energy and there's no sugar crash. 260 milligrams of natural caffeine. I don't know if Jeff Cameron's going to admit it because he's not on the payroll for this, Corey, but he's had some vitamin energy. That's kept him going. So shake it and take it. Use the promo code WARCHANTBOGO, WARCHANT B-O-G-O. Buy one, get one free when you use the promo code at vitaminenergy.com. You're going to like it. It's going to make life better. Pretty confident about that. Corey Clark, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Aslan. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are we good? Great. I'm great, man. This has been a fun last hour getting to do this. But I'm good, man. I'm in Marco Island, Florida with my beautiful fiance. She's doing some work. I dropped Brady off from a week-long travel baseball journey in Hoover, Alabama, and now I'm down here in Marco Island. And you're in Ireland.
I am. Life-changing for Brady, the baseball tournament?
No, but he had a good one. He had a really good one. His team played really well. So that out of 180 teams, they finished like near the top 20, which is something they don't do. So that was really cool, and he had a really good tournament. So it was a good way for him to end the season. Thank God the season is over. And now I'm in Marco Island getting to when you're around 12, 15-year-old boys for a week, you need a break, buddy. So Daddy is in Marco Island living it up. Except for this last hour.
Where is Marco Island in Florida? I don't even know. It's like Jacksonville area?
No, it's more. Look, man, so I drove on Tuesday. Brady's last game, they got run-ruled by a really good team, like the 9th best team in the country. And so they lost, and I drove him to Atlanta. It's a 3-hour drive from Birmingham to Atlanta. I got him to Atlanta at 6:30, and then drove 9 hours to Marco Island, which is it's in South Florida. I think it's by Naples. Okay. Mark from Naples would tell you. So it's by Naples. It's a really cool place. It's a neat little island. But yeah, so that's where it was a 9-hour drive. It was a long drive for the old man on Tuesday night. Got in around 4 a.m. That's what I do. And then got up at 9:30 to talk to Tatum Bethune and Renardo Green.
Please tell me about that. I wasn't there. I only saw, I think, the tweet about Tatum Bethune heaping effusive praise upon one Omar Graham Jr. Otherwise, what did you take away from two stalwarts, we think, of this Florida State defense?
You know, the big one, I wrote about Tatum after the guys, that's what I do, man. Like, I drove basically half a day, 12 hours on Tuesday, all hot and sweaty because it was 131 degrees in Birmingham on Tuesday. Didn't get a time for a shower, just dropped Brady off and left. And then got home at 4 a.m., got up at 9:30, wrote about – I was so excited about what Tatum had to say, Aslan, that I wrote right away. As soon as he was done, I got to get this on the website. And that's what I do for you guys. But he was good, man. I thought what was really interesting is they all have the Norvell complex when it comes to injuries. He's like, I had an upper body and a lower body. But he did admit that he was very banged up last year, which is true. We know it. We're not allowed to talk about it, but he was banged up. He was limited in practice all the time. And then he said, his goal this year is to be dominant and to be all over the field. And it is interesting. Like, I forgot that he had some really good games. He had like a 14-tackle game against NC State. He had 11 tackles against Florida. I feel like he had a good game against Miami too. I think he had 3 or 4 10-tackle games, but he clearly wasn't himself for the majority of the season. And if he is himself and can stay relatively healthy and not miss practice and be banged up like he was last year, Don't you think you're talking about maybe one of the better linebackers in the conference?
This
All
conference
right,
probably
guess not.
isn't probably flush with talent at linebacker. What can a linebacker do to make you feel really confident about who they are at this point and where college football is right now? Like, just being a short tackler? Are we counting on a guy that's going to be able to cover well when running backs are leaking out the backfield? I mean, how does one of the better linebackers in the conference, how does that translate? How does that look and feel to you, Corey?
I think it's more about when he's going to have those defensive tackles taking on blocks so he can roam free, making plays, making either tackles at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. He had 9 tackles behind the line of scrimmage last year, I think, which was second on the team to Verse. But, maybe make that 15 or 16 TFLs. That's what it looks like to me. Getting off blocks quicker. Look, man, Tatum Bethune, God love him. He's not going to be a guy that's going to be great in the flat. He's not going to be a guy that's very good at coverage just because I think he's a little bit limited physically and most linebackers are when it comes to covering guys like Rodney Hill, or Trayshawn Ward. Those guys are really fast and quick and small, and it's tough for linebackers to cover those. There aren't many linebackers that you would say, man, he's really great in coverage. There aren't. You just don't want to be dismal in coverage. But I think the run game, man, the one weakness that this whole team had last year, other than maybe place kicking, was run defense. And a lot of that had to do with the guys up front being hurt, but also I think it had to do with Bethune being hurt and banged up. So I think that if he can make the plays in the hole that are supposed to be made and not guess wrong, get off blocks a little bit better, which is something he said he was working on with his hands. He's been working a lot, he said, in the offseason on just handwork, like getting off blocks, being stronger and getting off blocks quicker, then yeah, I think that's what it looks like, is meeting guys in the hole. And they don't get 4 yards, they don't get 6 yards, they get 1 yard or they get pushed backwards for 0 yards. That to me is what it looked like. And you saw it at times last year with 15, right? He wasn't abysmal. You just didn't see it maybe as much as you thought you were going into the season. But then you wonder again, how much was that? How much of that was, number one, the defensive tackle situation not being good at all, and then also his own injuries. Let's see what he looks like with that D-line and with him being healthy.
It's not fair. It's almost like judging Dalvin based on what he did against Oregon. I just remember Clemson, the second half, I think that touchdown they scored after the onside kick, he just was absolutely lost, and that tight end ran right by him. And my fear is just if he gets confused, he's a smart kid, man. He knows ball. He's got really good instincts. But if those fail him, if things get lost in the wash, he just doesn't have the athleticism to make up for it. But the counter to that is that he really is a smart guy, and he does not find himself out of position all that often. He graded out at 70.6 for the season. I mean, had really good games, as you say, against Miami, graded out at 82.6. TFLs, 9.5, which, as you said, Corey's second best on the team. Not that I doubted you. I'm just giving specific data on it. Verse had 17 TFLs. That's crazy. So, that's fair, and that's really encouraging to hear him talk about just kind of the ambition he has for this upcoming season. Because if he can obviously be healthy, I think we find a different level of production out of him, and that probably helps the entire defense because they got big shoes to fill with Jamie being gone. But he doesn't feel that's the case, right? I mean, he recognizes how important Jamie was, but he's still confident about how good this defense can be, it sounded like.
Yeah, he is. And, look, man, I think that you look at this whole defense and you lost Jamie Robinson, but you returned essentially everybody else that mattered. You do have some depth issues, maybe at linebacker. So you hope your starters stay healthy. And like you said about Omar Graham, that guy is a pretty important piece to this team this year because, you have DJ Lundy, but I feel like we know what DJ Lundy is, right? He's okay. Love you, DJ, but he's okay. Maybe Omar Graham is better than that, and maybe he will be better than that in September. And you're going to need somebody else. You're not going to just be able to ride with 3 linebackers all season, and everybody else is young, really young. So Omar Graham is, he's been here a year and a half, really, because I think he was here last spring. So he needs to be the guy that steps up and becomes that 4th linebacker. And who knows if he's good enough? And we've seen flashes, haven't we, Aslan? Yeah. If he's good enough, maybe he's your 3rd linebacker by the second or third week of the season. But yeah, overall, he seemed they both, he and Renardo both seemed, and we got both of those. They were made available by FSU Sports Information at 9:30 in the morning, which again I was very happy about after that drive. But yeah, they both seemed very, very confident about the defense and about the team as a whole.
I think I've had the wrong microphone selected this whole show, everybody. So if my audio is not that great, I apologize in advance. But
you know what, everybody, we ain't re-recording it. We ain't going back.
Jordan Travis, Jared versus Kalen DeLoach going to Charlotte next weekend. Hope to see you there as well, Corey. Thoughts on?
I hope you don't, Aslan. Honestly, I don't know if you knew that, but I hope you don't see me there.
Yes, you too, buddy. I think 2 out of those 3 are pretty on par. I don't want to say like Kalen was unexpected, or I don't want to hint at all that he's not deserving, but I'm going to probably put unrealistic expectations on his growth now this season because he has been tabbed to this. I know I don't know how coaches figure out the calculus in their head for who they want to take. Some are obvious. You have to take Jordan. You have to take Jared. I think the fact that they got a lot of great talented players on this team. Kalen, I think outside the Florida State echo chamber that is Florida State Twitter, might not be as highly touted. Maybe speaks a little bit of volumes and echoes to what Mike Norvell feels he can be like. Do you take anything away from the announcement that he's part of it? Does that change at all your expectations for what he can be because his coach determined him worthy enough to be invited to the big party in Charlotte with all of us?
No, not really. They got the 2 that they had to get, Verse and Travis, and then the other one was kind of a wild card. I don't know if Fabian's done it before.
He did.
A lot of the guys.
He was there last year. You weren't there last year, though, buddy, but he was there.
I wasn't. So, and the guys on offense, the ones that you're looking at, Keon wouldn't be a guy. Johnny Wilson, clearly doesn't like doing the media that much, so it makes sense that he wouldn't be one. I thought maybe Trey would be a guy they would bring. But other than that, no, DeLoach makes as much sense as anyone. I wanted to ask, though, before we're done, is Ira getting drunk? What's the story at night in Ireland with the 3 of you, with you and Jeff and he?
Dude, listen, man. God bless these people that have us out here. SeminolesToIreland.com. Grab your package.
Yeah.
Man, every waking minute of our lives has been mapped out. So there really isn't a lot of time to cut loose until after we're done with dinner.
Yeah.
But this is night 3 as we're recording this. And every night, Jeff and I have strong-armed Ira into going out for pints. We don't call them beers. We call it going out for pints.
Yeah.
And we've you'll hear Ira talk a little bit about it at the end of the show. We do our travel log part 2, but he's a fan of Guinness. He's out here indulging, living it up. And I love it, man. I was like, hey, man, I got to leave dinner. I'm like, I got to go record with Corey. He's like, don't do it, man. He's like, you don't have to go do it with Corey right now. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's got a life to live. He's like, he doesn't care. I'm like, I know. I'm like, but not having him on Wake Up for a whole week is weird. So Ira's like, no, we're still staying out. I'm like, all right. I'll have another beer then. Another pint for me and my men. So Ira's, he's letting his hair down a little bit, and he's going to be able to enjoy himself when he gets back. After ACC kickoff, he's got some plans with the family. Much overdue plans for the big guy in the family. So
but a good time
next year. It's going to be fun next year.
You guys are having a good time.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to be out here. I can't wait,
buddy. I can't wait to have a pint with Ira. It's good. It's long overdue. But you're having a good time overall then in Ireland. That's much more important than Kalen DeLoach going to Charlotte. Is the 3 of you out there, what you're doing, and how much fun you're having.
I want to let you go. I know your lovely fiance is waiting for you at dinner, but I know this isn't Wake Up Bulldogs. But you mentioned how you don't like certain strands of journalism. It doesn't feel all that real to you. You mentioned on the show, I pay attention to 90% of the things you say, but when you talk about things that aren't Florida State, maybe I don't. But apparently the AJC, your hometown newspaper, wrote a pretty bizarre story expose on your alma mater, and apparently the guy's now fired. Can you give us some cliff notes of those of us who maybe don't pay attention to everything outside the Florida State sphere of what happened and what that maybe means?
Did I told you about it, right? Like last week we talked about it a little bit, so it was just it's a guy that's been writing at the AJC forever. He's an investigative journalist, and it gives me pause on what he's been, because apparently he's been working at the AJC for over 20 years. It gives me pause on what he's been doing the last 20 years, because this story was just full of holes. It was full of leaps of logic. and unproven citations. And just the stuff as a journalist that I've been a journalist now for, good Lord, 25 years of my life, made me uncomfortable. And not because I'm a UGA alum, just because I'd read the story. I'm like, well, man, you didn't prove that. You didn't prove that. So anyway, he wrote this article about how UGA rallies behind sexual assault, players that have been accused of sexual assault. And then he didn't have really any proof in the story. That was the headline, though. And then the UGA fought back and sent a 9-page letter outlining all the inaccuracies in the story, and he was fired. And the AJC wrote a retraction of the 2 main points. One being that he quoted a cop in an interview, making it look like the cop was helping out the player that was being accused, but he strung together. He took part of one quote and part of another quote and strung them together to make it look like one question, which is just completely asinine, and it's just gross. And then also, he said that there were 11 players that were still on the team that had been accused of sexual assault and didn't list any of them and didn't prove any of them. He just threw that, apparently came out with that number out of the blue. And the reason I say he did that is because he no longer is employed. And if he could prove that he had 11 people, sourced or otherwise, unnamed or otherwise, that had done that, he would still have a job, but he could not prove it, so he was let go. It was bizarre. What bothered me about it was the AJC, after UGA sent the 9-page letter demanding a retraction, that's when the AJC decided, let's put our editorial board on this and investigate the claims in our own article, and let's see how true it is, and maybe do that before you publish it. Newspaper. Maybe you should take more of a microscope or a fine-tooth comb and go over these crazy accusations before you publish it. And they didn't. And so they went back after the fact, found there were some, discrepancies, let's say, fired the guy, and retracted part of the story. So it's just, if you've done this long enough and if you've read enough of these stories, you could just tell this was nonsense. And I don't know why the AJC ran it. There was no need to run it. UJ's given them plenty of fodder with all the driving, the craziness with the driving. Apparently, if you sign a letter of intent with the University of Georgia, they give you a Ferrari and tell you not to drive under 90 miles an hour. It's bizarre what goes on in that. You have plenty to write about. There was no need to make up stuff. And clearly that's what this looks like, is some of it just completely fabricated. So he no longer has a job, which he doesn't deserve one after that shoddy journalism.
Do you think Red Bull and Max Verstappen should do an NIL deal with Georgia football players?
That's not bad. I see what you're doing. A little Formula One.
Yeah.
Getting a little Formula One into it. I like it, Aslan. I like it.
Before we go, mybookie.ag, is there anything you want to bet on? Anything, anytime, anywhere? You want to pull up the Open? The Open Championships begin this morning, I think, as you folks are listening to this. Apparently our guys...
Is it in Ireland? Where are they playing?
It's in England. I think it's in England.
Oh, that's too bad.
They're not doing our guy Brooks Koepka any favors, apparently. I think they're putting him in a threesome with some historically slow-playing players, according to our good friends over on the Tribal Council. Do you want me to check out, is there anybody odds you want me to look up real quick here as we talk about...
Tiger Woods? What's Tiger's odds? Or Jack Nicklaus?
I mean, Nick O'Leary, his grandson.
Yeah, I did know that. I would say, what is Koepka? I like Koepka's chances over there, honestly.
Here's a proposition out there. Who will be the first-round leader at the Open out of the Live golfer roster? Brooks Koepka's plus 550, behind only Cameron Smith, who's plus 470. Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, these are other golfers that are on the Live, Louis Oosthuizen, Phil Mickelson, etc.
It won't be Mickelson. I mean, look, man, I always think Koepka's a good bet at a major. He cares. He's playing really well. I don't think a plus 550, not to be the leader of everyone, but just of the Live golfers.
Yes.
That seems like a pretty good bet.
I think that's amazing, man. Plus 550, yeah.
Also, I would say take the Braves and the over. No, don't take the Braves. They're struggling right now, but their pitching is horrible and they hit the tar out of the ball. So take the over in all the Braves games.
Look at that bonus content. Corey, thank you so much, man. I love you.
I love you more. I can't believe you're in Ireland with Ira. You guys are killing it. you're having a good time. I mean, it's good to see.
You're lucky, everybody. I just strong-armed Jeff Cameron and Ira into hanging out with me. They kind of have to. It's part of their job. But thanks for being here, guys. Jeff, how are you?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Yeah. Ira, how are you?
Fantastic.
What a trip this has been.
Yeah.
So let's catch everybody up. We got here on Monday. We went and toured the stadium, which Florida State's going to play in. If you want to go to the game, check out Seminoles2Ireland.com, numeral 2. And then on Tuesday, did we go to Waterford on Tuesday? We went to Waterford on Tuesday, which I'm like, why are they driving us 2 hours away from Dublin? And I think that was more real Ireland. Felt like it's more of like what this country's all about. It's more kind of closely aligned to the common man. It was amazing. We got to see the coastal side. I mean, Dublin's on the water too, but like we got to see the sea. It was amazing. It was fantastic.
A fishing community.
Yeah.
The rolling hills, the green pastures, the cows walking over bridges.
Yeah.
We did see cows walking over
We
bridges.
did. Wednesday we went to the largest botanical or second largest botanical garden in the world?
There's I think it's the largest. 10,000 different types of plants.
We're
in
saying
Florida.
it's the largest. It's the largest.
I believe it is the largest. She told
right.
us it was
Sounds
the
good.
largest.
It's
So we're
largest.
gonna
And then
believe it.
I got to go to Epic, and I don't want to get political on the show. I don't want to get political in a place like this. I don't want to get all biblical in a place like this, as Mickey says to Rocky inside of the chapel at the hospital as Adrian's clinging to life. I'm proud to, like, of my immigrant roots. You know, I think it's
Sure.
cool that my parents moved like halfway across the world to like a country where they didn't speak the language and made it work and bought a house and put kids through college and stayed debt and crime free. Kind of wish I was Irish. Pretty cool to go through the Epic heritage. I mean, the Irish Immigration Museum. Jeffrey, what'd you take away from Wednesday? What was the coolest thing for you? Was it epic? I don't want to put words in your mouth or anything, but
Yeah, I thought Epic was amazing. The Congaree gardens that you were referencing were breathtakingly beautiful, but I concur. I think the Epic Museum was probably my favorite. First of all, it's really well done, and we got a behind-the-scenes taste of it, which was really amazing to see how it works. But, as their slogan goes, everybody's from somewhere, but they do a much better job of bringing that back home. Like this idea that, listen, most all of our ancestors, of course, were not from America. So you think about what it took for those people, especially during the Great Famine in Ireland, to get on boats and go across the Atlantic. And back then, leaving Ireland likely meant you were never coming back to Ireland. So anybody you left behind, you were never going to see again. There was no internet. There was no phone service. There was no means by which to contact these folks that you were leaving behind for a better life or hopes of a better life. So I don't know, it personalized, the Irish American story, if you will.
Yeah. So the Epic Museum it's what's interesting about it to me is it's the whole premise of it is we're telling the stories of people who left this country. So that seems opposite of what you normally see in a museum. Normally, museums are like celebrations.
they celebrate all the guys that transferred and left Florida State.
Yeah, it's like doing a museum to the players who left Florida State and went to other schools. It's just that was strange to me that you're telling these stories and they're kind of not really flattering for Ireland. They're explaining that not everybody left because of the famine. Some people left because they wanted to be entertainers. They wanted opportunities that didn't exist in Ireland. Or maybe there were things that weren't accepted in Ireland at the time, and they wanted to go pursue those goals. So it's not all flattering. I think that was the surprising thing to me is, usually you feel like you go into a museum in a country that you assume it's going to be very pro that country, and it was pretty. I thought it was pretty honest.
Well, it's a wonderful thing, facts. Just being able to talk about things honestly as they occurred, and they do.
The food here has been pretty solid. I'm trying to, if you folks are a little bit hesitant on some of the things about Ireland, like maybe the food's not all that great. What else am I going to do besides watching a football game? There's plenty to do.
There's plenty to do.
Food's been really solid too. Not a big seafood guy. Monkfish, solid.
Oh, you went with the monkfish?
Sole, yeah.
I got the sole, the big giant fillet there, named after the the restaurant's named after the fish. Also solid. And I love seafood. And I grew up in Florida. So did you.
Yes, I did. Ira, kind of Baltimore, Miami's been in coastal
But
towns.
by the way, yeah, he's been on the water wherever he's been for the most part. I think their seafood was outstanding.
Yeah, I just went with the basic fish and chips. But it was the same thing I got in Dunmore East.
Which was also beautiful.
Over the fishing village we went to yesterday.
Strongly recommend Dunmore East.
Yeah, really, the whole Waterford thing. And
yeah.
Aslan touched on it briefly earlier, that Waterford, I think, has been like this surprise. It's been like this surprising upstart. Like
spat upon for many years, apparently.
It's the pinch hitter that came off the bench and hit the 2-run homer. Like, we did not expect Waterford to be what it was. It was really cool, and apparently it's made a big comeback, and it's cool. And but yeah, I had fish and chips there, and I had fish and chips here because I'm gonna have fish and chips. And I'm a little scared of sometimes of the grilled fish or the pan-seared fish.
I think when you come back in 2024, I want you to blossom out. Buddy.
We'll see.
I think it's time to take the next step.
But the fish and chips was on point. It was delicious, as was the Guinness. Man, you've turned my whole life around. You guys have turned my whole life around.
You know what's funny is Ira is a really smart man, hardworking man, great husband, father, wonderful friend. He's also really set in his ways, and he likes certain things that are just going to be this way till death. And sometimes when he says something, I think, he just said that. He doesn't even. He doesn't even know that. Excuse me. He just says it because he thinks he's supposed to say it. He had an experience 25 years ago, and it's still going to be the same. So it's like, I didn't like watermelon when I was 9. I'm going to hate it now.
It's true.
And so this is what happens with Ira. And then he goes, oh. And this is why it's another great personality trait of Ira. He was willing to admit he was wrong.
Yeah.
Guinness is delicious.
I was wrong. It is.
And you drank
good.
it like a champ tonight.
I've enjoyed it, man. It's been nice.
Jeff Cameron changing lives.
Oh, I don't know about that, but convincing him to try something, damn it. It's okay.
Ira, have you figured out what you're going to do to stay out of the doghouse when you do get back home? Like, I don't know, like, what I would do if I was married and my wife wanted to come and she was back home. I feel like I would just go radio silence. Just like, hey, babe, I'm alive. See you in a few days.
All good.
But Ira's like walking, I think he's walking Kim like virtually through everything that's going on. Is that a good or a bad thing,
No,
Jeff?
I'm not.
Well, everybody's marriage is different.
I'm gathering information. I'm gathering photos. What Aslan's talking about is I'm taking a lot of photos.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, that's the least I can do.
Have and not need.
You couldn't come, but I've got these pictures
So
on
let me
my
show
phone.
you what you're missing.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, another 25 cool things you didn't get to do.
Let's make,
This
I'm
is
going to make a list
fantastic.
of the 50 coolest things you didn't get to
You're never going to get to see this. You won't have time when we come back. But this is fantastic.
No, that's the whole selling point is next
Right.
year when we come back for the game, we're coming for the whole week. And I'm not going to work the whole time, guys.
Okay.
We're going to go see
We'll
stuff.
see about that.
We're going to go see stuff.
How excited are you, as you guys are listening to this, Jeff and I are gonna suck it up and we're going to wake up early and we're going to go play golf at one of the top 100 courses in the world.
Well, it's top 50, I think.
Top 50, top 60, depending on where you look.
Top 65, I think, on Golf Digest and golf.com.
That's correct.
Yeah, I want to
I saw it as high as 42 and as low as 68.
Okay.
So, you guys decide. It's a top 70 course.
I don't want to go do it. Jeff's like, we got to go do it.
What's
We're
crazy
going
is
to do it for you folks.
you're a good golfer. You're going to love it. You like playing the courses in Tallahassee.
You can say Heileman, don't you?
I was going to say, I don't get this. The guy likes golf. And in the last 24 hours, I'm getting a sense that he hates golf. I don't know where this is coming from. We're going to go play links golf. You and I have never played links golf anywhere, period.
True links
and
golf.
it's seaside. It's going to be beautiful. On a top 60 course in the world.
How many balls do you think your guys are going to lose?
Oh, 15 apiece.
Easily.
Because we both, even if we play well, we're not good enough not to lose balls in the fescue. It's going to happen.
I love the word fescue.
Yeah, me too.
Are you going to take videos of him traipsing through the fescue?
Oh, yeah, we're going to have tracker on Jeff's high arcing cut shot.
There was a course that I played with Tom, and they had what was kind of fescue-esque one time we were playing, and I lost 3 balls in the fescue, and the second goes in, you can't find it. It's gone. Right. Because we don't have a gallery stomping it down and going, oh, it's right here, right?
We got to look out for each other, by the way.
I got you, man. We're walking together. So you'll have to beep this last time. I'll make you beep anything. I just yelled out to him one time, well, they you in the fescue. And he goes, that's a great album. And I go, you know what? You're right. Let's call this album They You in the Fescue. And it's so true. Anyhow, we're going to find that out in real time tomorrow, buddy. We're going to find out the kind of problems I have in the fescue. But that's going to be great.
I know, but my thing is, 9 holes is enough. And then I want 2 hours to go.
Aslan's getting
roam
old,
around.
everybody. Aslan's getting old.
No,
I want to shop. I want to go look at the shops. What is that? What are we doing?
I think it's
Help me
all
out,
going to determine. It's all going to be determined what happens after 9 holes.
Yeah, if you're playing well, you're like,
playing
this is
well,
awesome.
you're going to be like, this is
I don't
great.
need to
I'm
go
never
shopping.
leaving.
Let's continue to golf on one of the great golf courses in the world.
But if on the last 2 or 3 holes, you're
plus
way
30,
over
you're
par,
gonna go,
and you've lost
"Hey,
a bunch
Cameron,
of balls,
what do you
you
say
might
we
be
go back and
thinking,
do
"Hey
some
Jeff,
shopping?"
you stay here. I'm going to go to your cab."
Well, fair enough.
All right, last thing as we go out, Epic also, again, which stands for Every Person is Connected. We did the tour on Wednesday. It was amazing. Ira, you're going back on Thursday morning to do the genealogy study. So
Gonna be awesome.
They're going to break down the maternal side, not the Chauffeur side of the family, but the maternal side of the family. Are you anxious? Are you excited? Do you have a pretty high confidence level that you're going to be able to figure out a lot of stuff that you didn't know before you showed up here?
Yeah, so that Epic Museum.
What's that feeling like to know that you're going to maybe get some crazy answers?
Well, yeah, it's cool. So we have started since, everybody's on the Ancestry.com and the 23andMe and all these sites. We have some information. And I know my mom's family's from Ireland. And so I'm excited to see, and I know, the name, I know our family name is McGrath, and I know we're from the southern part of the country. And just talking at dinner tonight with some of the people that are hosting us, had some information that they shared from their experiences of that part of the country. And so I'm excited about it, but I'm also kind of like a little bit leery because I don't know. You have no idea what you're going to find out. Like I would love to find out that, yes, my great-great-great-grandfather was this great person, or that they did good things. But what if they didn't do good things? I don't know.
It's not your fault.
I don't know. I know, but it's like
Come here, big guy.
oh, your ancestors were bad people.
Yeah, they
so
probably were.
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
had to be bad back in the day. It was tough living. It was tough to get by.
If they survived, they probably did something wrong.
They killed somebody on the other farm.
And I don't think we're going to get that kind of detail, but it's going to be fun. No, I'm super excited because my family didn't, and I don't know how you guys were with your parents. Like I never asked a lot of questions about what it was like before, when they were growing up. I wish I had. Both my parents are passed. If your parents are alive, people, ask them the questions. Save the time. You don't have to go to Ireland to do the research.
You should definitely go to Ireland and find out exactly where they're from. Yeah.
So, no, I'm excited. And then, so they're going to actually sit me down at the Epic Museum, which is incredible.
I'm really intrigued to find out the process.
How much they can find out.
Yeah, and what they can find out. I think it's going to be awesome. And don't assume your family's criminals. You don't just let's find out what happens.
I know my people, Jeff. But no, I do think. But yeah, so one of the things and again, like we've written a little bit, and we've put up some videos from this trip. But yeah, over the next couple of months, we're going to put up a lot more content. And one of the things I'll write is what that process is like, because people can do it. They, and again,
they can come here and do it.
They can go and sit down with a genealogist and get a good idea of their history, because a lot of
Dublin,
people.
you're right here.
Right.
It's 10 minutes from our hotel.
Very much. It's right there in the kind of the tourist district. Where a lot of the shopping is,
yeah.
and where I'm going to be, where Aslan's golfing.
All right, one kind of football related question. What I haven't even asked you guys. What's the reaction been on Twitter to the photo of Jeff recreating the?
I don't know the
nature?
reaction. Yeah, we had fun with that.
Have we read any comments yet?
So yeah, we've had some hilarious comments. I will tell you, one of the first reasons. So once you
Well,
post
let people
So
know. Some
explain
of them
what
might
the
not
photo
follow
is.
everybody.
all
on
right.
Twitter.
So Ira had a great idea. So we were walking through
the beautiful botanical garden in Waterford.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the
right.
Mount Congreve.
Congaree. And so we were there, and it is massive, and it's along the river, and it's beautiful. And so as we were walking, meandering about as you do, we came up on several really big trees, and we were all kind of looking up, and it struck Ira in such a way that he remembered the ludicrous photo of Jimbo Fisher staring and smiling for that piece down there in the Palm Beach Post.
I think it was a bunch. It's my favorite picture of all time.
Yeah,
It's
and
my
so
favorite picture of all
it's
time.
this Jimbo in nature moment where he's
What?
pretending to.
What could be the premise of that picture?
I'm healthy and happy. Who knows? But he was the picture. Everybody's seen the picture in the piece. He's staring up at the trees as if to say, "I really do appreciate nature, and I'm in awe of the flora." And we were laughing about that. Ira pointed it out. It was a great instant recall on his part. And then so I was standing there, and he goes, "Can you recreate the photo?" So it started innocent enough. And then we were like, well, pull up the photo. Let's actually recreate the photo. And so if you go on Twitter, I think you posted it, or did Aslan post it?
I think I posted it.
So you posted it. It's
Aslan was the artistic director. I didn't give him credit.
Aslan
for
had
it.
the angle and the camera and everything else. And so I tried to get into character as best I could. Puffed out my chest and I spread my feet just right, and I gazed in awe at the tree limbs.
God's nature.
In God's nature, right? And we took the picture and it's posted. And some people got it, but I want to give Manny credit. Manny's a listener of all of the stuff that we do, and Manny on Instagram on my account goes, dude, I saw this, and he knew instantly it was a lark. So he was like, this is too good. He's like, you and Jimbo are perfect, and so he got the joke.
Yeah,
he got the joke. And I think several people got the joke.
I got a text from a friend of mine as well. Yeah, there were some good responses on Twitter, but I
go
got
look
a text
at
from a friend as well who seemed to enjoy it.
It was, I laughed. That's good stuff.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Good to be here, brother.
Wake up!
All right, on behalf of Corey, thanks to Jeff and Ira for hopping on and talking the Noles, talking Ireland a lot mainly, talking a lot of Ireland. This might be the last show of the week. Might come back with another one tomorrow. Not 100% sure. But check out warchant.com in the meantime. Hit the thumbs up, 5-star rating and review. Check out Seminoles to Dublin.com. If you have the means to come out to Ireland to watch your favorite football team play, if you don't, it's fine. I get it. I'm only out here because I have the best job in the world probably. But maybe a little bit of a cheat code at Seminoles to Dublin.com. There's a hospitality package apparently where it's just the ticket, but it's 3 hours of drinking, free drinking before the game, and then I think maybe 30 minutes or an hour after the game. So think about it. You come out here, I mean, the tailgate scene, I don't know how it's going to be, but just to know that you have somewhere to go booze before the game for free, well, you're paying for it, but it's included 3 hours of drinking, and then you have a good seat to the game, and then you can drink afterwards. Might be worth it to you if you don't feel like paying for the flight and all these different tours they have and stuff. So we get it. Probably just want to come out for this game, even if you don't want to do it over on SeminolesToDublin.com. It's going to be really cool. FOMO is a real thing. Maybe you suffer from it at times, but I'm not going to do the hard sell on you. You just listen to a show in which we babbled on about nothing, really, pretty much. That in itself was a comment about nothing. So I'm going to stop talking now. Again, on behalf of Corey, thanks to Jeff and Ira, thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Check out StayConnectedWarchant.com, your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Plenty of content going up over there. Michael and Matt got you covered when it comes to recruiting, so don't miss a beat. We'll talk to you folks later. Have a great one.